It's relevant for me. My friends think about it, my family thinks about it. I want to take a photo, post it over there, and I'm looking for 10,000 thumbs ups. None of these guys actually I know. But that's the way how the life is today. No point being judgmental about it. There is one thing we talk about marketing. Don't try to find out whether the customer is good or bad, whether the customer is rational or irrational. It is as a marketer, we have to understand the rationality of the customer. So can't say it is such a great product at a great price. Why customers are not buying? Well, which means I'm not providing the customer with value. Somebody else is providing better. So don't question the rationality of the customer. What you get to do over here is you understand the rationality of the customer. So that is where the social comes in, that today everybody is happy sharing everything with others, and their appreciation is more important today than probably the functional or economic value. But anyway, so different products will be having different kind of things, where a Lifebuoy soap probably will be having more functional or economic value. Whereas if you are looking at a Mercedes-Benz or a BMW, it is not necessarily that they don't have functional or economic value, but what will be significant is more of social and experiential value. So this is the way how the market works. This is what marketing does for you. Okay. I hope I'm a little slower than Mohini, and you have been able to make your notes or understand what I'm talking about. Time is short, so I have to move a little fast. Okay, great. Let's move now. So this is something that I spoke about is marketing. Marketing is providing customers with value. Okay, done. So now what is entrepreneurial marketing? Now, entrepreneurial marketing, if you look into it, it is the same marketing mindset and approach which is suited for startups. What does it mean? The startup, small business, or new ventures, the conditions over here is extremely high uncertainty, and then there are severe resource constraints. All of us agree with it. The kind of resources Coca-Cola or FENG or HUL has, obviously, all of us do not have that kind of resources. So we will not be able to spend that kind of money on large customer base trying to acquire them. We have to find out the optimality over here. So entrepreneurial marketing is not any different marketing activity. It is a different way to do marketing. Eventually, we still have to get the customers. We have to identify the customer. We have to acquire the customer, and we have to retain the customer. But the approach for that will be a little different over here because there is uncertainty in the market and there is resource constraints. So the key attributes of entrepreneurial marketing, which will be clearer when I go forward, you do understand most of these things: innovation and creativity. You have to be different. You have to be creative in comparison to others. Customer centric. The focus is customer satisfaction. So this is the something that I will tell you. I'll repeat this term later also. So most people talk about customer centric, but they don't really understand what is customer centric. The difference between a conventional business and a customer centric business: in a conventional business, the objective is to make money. That is sales or market share or growth, financial objectives. And in order to do that, you have to satisfy the customer, because you have to retain the customer, acquire the customer, blah, blah. But a customer-centric business, the basic objective is to satisfy the customer. The financial is an outcome of it. If you satisfy the customer, then automatically you become better in the market. So here I will refer to what something Jeff Bezos keeps talking about very often, that if you are competing against your competitor, you are actually sub-optimizing yourself, because you are not looking for 100% satisfaction of the customer. You're looking at customer feedback. If your competitor has a feedback of 8.5, the moment you get 8.6, you are happy. You think that you are the best. But 8.6 is not 10. 10 out of 10 is complete customer satisfaction. The slide vanished. What happened? Okay, great. So, when you are going for 100% customer satisfaction, then actually you are making your competitors irrelevant. This is customer centricity. Customers, when you are looking at differentiating from your competitor, at that time, you are doing a business where customer satisfaction is one of the byproducts. But when you are looking at customer centricity, at that time, your objective is to satisfy the customer, in which the financial, that is sales, market share, growth, this is the byproduct. This is not the basic objective. So this is the way how customer centricity is visualized. Of course, dynamic value creation, because the market is uncertain, market is changing from time to time. So whatever is value today might change tomorrow, might change day after tomorrow. And for that reason, you need agility and speed. I will talk about the agility and speed when I talk about the steps in entrepreneurial marketing. And finally, what makes the customer stick to you is the relationship with the customer. How do you build a relationship with the customer? See, a large company, again, if I go back to the same guys like Coca-Cola or HUL or P&G and all, so they're mass marketed. They're not personally connecting with individual customers. Even if they want, it is very difficult for them to do. They're trying to do that. It's very difficult for them to do. But for a smaller startup or for a smaller operations kind of business, it is very easy to connect with the customer. And when you connect with the customer, then there is a relationship going. So at that time, the customer is not judging you for each success or each failure. At that time, customer thinks I'm family. So this is one of the key attributes of entrepreneurial marketing, where you build the customer into your value delivery system. The customer is part of your family. The moment you start thinking like this, and the moment your customer starts thinking like this, then your business is much more sustainable. So these are some of the key attributes of entrepreneurial marketing. Okay, let's move on. So this is where just a comparison, not much for me to teach over here, so to say. It is more of you guys, if you can see the slide, it is self-explanatory, where you are talking about a conventional marketing versus entrepreneurial marketing. What is the major difference over here? If you look into the goal or the objective, whereas traditional marketing or the conventional marketing is more looking at market share, brand building, etc. The entrepreneurial one looking at customer acquisition, growth, relationship. Resources are constrained. Risk tolerance is higher. Customer focus, direct interaction, customer centricity, customer relationship. Whereas a conventional marketing, broader segments, often mass communication. So it is not one-to-one. It is not giving personal feedbacks. Decision making in a large organization is slower. It has to go through multiple levels. The agility is not there because large organizations. Whereas for a smaller one, your decision making is fast, intuitive. A lot of things you are doing and then trying it out and not working, trying something else. So this kind of fast-paced organization. If you look into strategy, I told you in the beginning, product, price, place, promotion is for the conventional marketing. Whereas if you are looking at strategy for entrepreneurial marketing, it is more persona marketing, creating customer persona and developing strategy accordingly. I'll share the persona things with you a little later. Content marketing. See, today's market, content is the king. Create every customer today, when they're looking for anything, they Google around. And Google has now given up to AIs like the Geminis or Perplexity or ChatGPT and all. So, lot of this information people would like to acquire before they even start looking at your product or service in general, talking about offering. So, how much content do you have? How much of these things are there available in the market? Think of it over here, something like a Zerodha. The reason why they're so big, of course, they have the products and services and lot of attributes, lot of good things, but they're kind of enormous content. Anybody today thinking about investment, you Google around in YouTube, in AI, you'll get a lot of contents from Zerodha. And this, of course, has taken them a long time to create this content. But this really helps. So, building relationship. So, even if when you are looking at each of these videos or each of this material which Zerodha is sharing with you, they're not telling you that you have to buy something. It is not based on the transaction. It is creating that content which helps you. Here, I'll tell you one more strategy. Transactional relationship versus non-transactional relationship. When the relationship, typically all relationships are transactional. That is, you say that with one free, I'm giving you a discount, I have a new offer. So this is all product based. You're trying to sell something to the customer. The customer also understands it. But when you're looking at, I'm trying to help you invest. I'm trying to help you make money, whether with me or somebody else, it doesn't matter. Everybody wants to make money. But what we are talking about here is that I'm giving you contents, I'm giving you information, you do whatever you want to do. And after this, if you think that I'm the right guy to help you make money, yeah, so be it. This is non-transactional relationship. And increasingly with the AI and lot of information, and people are today time constrained and attention is not there. So with all these things, people are more looking at somebody which is developing a relationship with me versus trying to sell my product. So content marketing eventually will lead to non-transactional relationship, which is more sustainable than transactional relationship. Because the big guys can give big discounts. And if you try to match it up, yeah, well, good luck to you. Is it a sustainable strategy? Probably not. Right. Okay. So this is the basic difference between a conventional marketing and the entrepreneurial marketing. Now, what we will do is we'll go to the next step. I told you 3 things I'll talk about. Until now, I have been trying to explain what is the entrepreneurial marketing, how does it connect with the conventional marketing. I hope you are all clear at this point of time. Can we get to see some thumbs up or something where you I get an idea that whether you have understood or not? Any kind of signal?
Yeah, I think they're raising their hands as.
Okay, good. Yeah, I know I'm going a little fast, but yeah, what to do? We have time constraints, and thanks for raising your hand, and thanks for making me know that I'm making some sense over here. Okay, good. Next thing I'm going to go to is the relevance part, the second part over here. That is, you have to look into the bigger picture. You have to start thinking. Here, the term is the business model. What is the business model? Everybody talks about it. It is a simple thing, how your business makes money. While it is, all of us know that how your business makes money, but to put it into a structure and says which are the activities that actually helps us to make money and which are the useless activities or which we should improve, where we should invest in our resources. For that, the business school, the management discipline have come up with a template or a framework which is called business model. The business model is the four important variables or four important elements: customer value, profit, key resources, and key processes or key activities. To explain this better, I'll put the template in front of you. The next slide, please. Next.
So one more slide further.
Yeah, next one.
Yeah.
Actually, I have finished this. Yeah. So this one is the business model template that I'm talking to you about. So this business model over here, if you look into this, on the right-hand side, you have got the customer. Who is your customer? The center is the value. That is why the customer is your customer. Is it because of low price? Is it because of good experience? Is it because it is a social value? A lot of people appreciate it. What is it that you are bringing to the table for which your customer is your customer? So customer value proposition. Now, in order to make the value proposition, say that your customer is the cost conscious or the price conscious average middle class Indian. So your value proposition is economy. That is the four different values that I spoke to you about. Now, in order to, which means essentially you are providing the product to the customer at low price. So if you want to provide the customer a product which is low price, say a bar of soap, say even say potatoes, whatever you want to say potatoes. What you need to do to provide potatoes at low price to the customer. Now, if you buy every day, go to the Kerpuram market and from that you pick up 1 kg of potato and bring it and sell it in Banagata Road, obviously you are not going to be able to give them at a lower price because your cost is actually much higher. So what do you need to do? Probably you have to think of some sourcing. You have to look into some farmers. You have to look into where potato are being cultivated and what is the supply chain. How do I minimize my operations? How do I optimize my, sorry, not minimize, optimize my operations so that I'll reduce the cost of potato. Now, all those things that you need to do to reduce the cost of potato are key activities. In order to do that, what kind of resources do you need? Do you need manpower? Do you need financial power? Do you need warehousing? Do you need supply chain? I mean, your own logistics freights, or you're looking at outsourcing it? Are you looking at technology? What is it that you are looking for in order to provide potatoes at low price? That is the resources. Now the decision over here is how many of these resources you want to own and how many of the resources that you can outsource. That is the partnership. Customer value proposition. To provide that value proposition, whatever activities that you are doing, to those activities, what resources you need. Out of that, what you want to do it yourself and what you want to outsource to others. Now, the resources and partnerships, they will cost you money. Hence, the cost is at the bottom of this. The customer will give you money. Hence, revenue is on the other side of it. How the customers will give you money? Through the different channels. So is it a single channel? Is it a multi-channel? Is it an omni-channel? Is it digital channel? Is it a quick commerce? Which channel is going to be useful to provide the customer with value? And then, of course, how do you maintain relationship with the customer? So if you look into it, the right-hand side of me, the right-hand side is giving you money. The left-hand side is costing you money. Any activity that you are doing, if it is not adding to the value proposition of the customer, it is wasteful activity. Any resources that you are using, if that resource is not aiding in the key activities, it is a wasteful resource. So a lot of literature is available on business model. I'm just giving you the template. My suggestion would be that each one of you, it's not an easy job. Tell you, when I do a lot of executive education, I spend 3-4 days with big companies just for their executives to draw up the business model for them. Spend time, you will hit the roadblocks, but try to put your business in the business model template. And then this is the bigger picture that you see, customer value, because marketing provides the customers with value. So marketing will be part of key activities over here. What kind of marketing are the key activities? But if you do the business model template, it is not just marketing. It is a lot of other things also that will go into it. And your total business, you can look into it at a higher level. It will help you to think better. And is business model strategy? So this is the typical question that lot of time comes. So the major difference between business model and strategy is that in business model, there is no mention of any competitor. So it is more like in an ideal scenario, in an optimal scenario, if you are there, then how do you make money? But that optimal scenario is not available in the real life, because in real life, there will be a competitor or multiple competitors. What does that mean? That means you have to provide a value which is better than the competitor. It is not just providing value, it is providing the value better than the competitor. And hence, your activities and resources have to be better than the competitor. And the most important thing is, what are you communicating to the customer? Customer relationship. What kind of story are you telling to the customer? I'll come back to it in a little while. Okay, so we have completed the second phase. Now I go to the third phase, that is the entrepreneurial marketing steps. So eventually, a lot of gyan and all that blah blah thing, but eventually, what are you going to do? What is the action plan? We all want to go back with, I think, a lot of gyan and all that, but pata nahi, abhi karna kya hai? Okay, this is what? This is the step by step. What do you want to do? Many of the things already I have told you. Let me put it into a structure. First, who is your customer? Define your customer, ideal customer. You don't have to do a market research for that. Don't tell me that you don't have money to do market research. It's not needed to do market research. When you have a product, somebody has to buy it. So if you close your eye and think, for this product of mine, who is going to buy it? Who is that guy? If no competition is there anywhere in the world, who is this guy who will every day come and buy my product? That is your ideal customer. Many times you haven't thought about it. Spend some time thinking who is your ideal customer. For that, the tool that in marketing we use called persona. I will share the persona templates with you through this slide. So through the persona, you not only identify who is the customer, can we go to 2, 3 slides. So slide number 12.
Prof, I changed it. Is it visible?
Acha, you have added a few. No, go one slide more. One more slide. One more slide. Yeah. So what you see in front of you, this is a template for persona. So what is the template? What does it say? You have the typical demographic data. Again, no need to do survey. Your ideal customer. You put some age, use some location, whatever family income and all that you put over here. Then you want to describe your customer. Give your story, whatever you think that is the bio part of it. Give the biography of the customer. What does the customer do? What do they like? What do they don't like? And etc. The most important thing are the pains and gains. What are the current pains of the customer and what are the current gains of the customer? What is it that the customer is expecting from you? Again, lot of template, lot of information like this is available in the in the digital space. Resources are available. I am not the creator of persona. So you can do enough research on this and find out multiple templates of persona. All I'm trying to tell you over here is that create this persona, use this persona template to identify your ideal customer. So through this, if you look into it, the right-hand side corner, communication channels, it also is telling you that how do you reach out to this customer? Again, your ideal customer. You don't need to do a market. You can do a back of the envelope kind of market estimation, so socially available data, government sources or anywhere, whatever data is available. Take your assumptions, doesn't matter. But spend time to identify who is your ideal customer using this persona tool. Okay. Can we go back to the previous steps?
1 second. I'm just.
Yeah. Yeah, this. Thanks. So you have defined your customer. Then what is the objective? What do you want to achieve over here? Are you looking at leads? Are you looking at revenue? Are you looking at brand creation? Are you looking at relationship? So please understand over here that lead cannot always be the only objective. Revenue cannot always be the only objective. In fact, something else will lead to the lead. If people don't know about you, if people don't connect with you, then how is they going to spend money on you? But anyway, decide what is your objective. Based on the objective, what do you want to say to the customer? Transactional, non-transactional, whatever you want to say, create that content and then decide the channel by which you want to reach. See, already you have identified the channel for the customer through the persona. You have created the persona, you have created your ideal customer, and this ideal customer spends time on Instagram. This is what you create. This is what you hypothesized. Not really hypothesized. This is what you analyzed and understood. Right? So now for the Instagram, for the objective that you have in mind, say it is relationship. To build relationship for your ideal customer through Instagram, what kind of content that you want to create? This is the step. So once you have created that content, next slide. Before you start executing it, what are the metrics? How do you know that your content, your campaign is working? This is very, very important for you. Most of the time when I interact with entrepreneurs, they say that, I don't know if the marketing is working or not. I'm spending money on digital marketing campaigns, but I don't think it is working. If you ask the question, how do you know? I mean, what would have happened for you to understand that it is working? Daily, you are going to get 1,000 customers? Well, that's not realistic. I don't think that would have happened anyway. 10 leads per day, 5 leads per day. What is your basis of telling 10 leads per day? Why not 2 leads? Why not 200 leads? What I'm trying to tell you here is spend time. Spend time over here to say that what is the, for that ideal customer, for that type of objective that I'm looking for, how do I know it is working? So different types of objectives are, I have listed it down over here. One is, of course, traffic and reach related. That is the impressions, website traffic, unique visitors, a lot of such kind of metrics are available. Then engagement related metrics, the CTR, the bounce rate, the time people spend on page, what kind of likes, what kind of reactions do they spend and give. So this is talking about the engagement related one. Here I'm only referring to the insight. There could be multiple ways, multiple channels and all. Third, the conversion related, where we are talking about leads, conversion rate, add to cart, any other kind of metrics. And then we go to the fourth one, which is the revenue or ROI, where you're looking into your organization, the bigger picture, the ROI, ROAS, CAC, average order value, etc., etc. Now, please, if you look into it, it actually will follow this step. First, there will be traffic where you will be able to reach to the customer. Then you will engage with them. They will start believing you. They will start interacting with you. Then only they will convert. And once you have significant conversion, then the revenue will increase, and then your ROI, ROS, and all will increase. If you start with ROI, ROS, that's not going to happen because you have not spent time in reaching out. You have not spent time to engage with the customer. On day one, you're telling, oh, my company is not making money. It will not make money. So the next thing is the time frame. How much time you think for each of these things? Traffic, how much time? Engagement, how much time? Conversion, basically the funnel I'm talking about. How much time you are going to spend in different parts of the funnel so that you get your ROI or ROS. So the evaluation metrics over here are related and they're cascading. It's not possible to jump to revenue without the reach and the engagement. I'm sure all of you know this. I'm just putting that into a structure to clarify and give you a way of thinking. Right. Okay. Next. This is the last one for me. Now, many of you would be thinking that, yeah, we have done all these things, but it is the hypothesis, is the assumption. So why will that work? We have not done a market research. We haven't found out the customer. So why will it work? Well, now the thing is that if you have achieved the chosen metrics, what you have identified within the time period, then you are in the right track. Please continue. You thought in the first week of Insta, my campaign, I'll be having 200 likes. 200 likes, you are in the right track. Next, you're looking at engagement. In the first month, I'll be having this much of interaction, this much of sharing of the Insta. You're in the right track. Now, if you are not, then iterate. This is the beauty of it. Either you can spend time right in the beginning, time and money and all that, and try to identify the bullseye and then develop the strategy, which the big guys do, or you identify your ideal customer. See, anyway, you have one product or service or passion for which reason you are there in the business. You have not that I'm sitting on $1 trillion and I could have done any business starting from soap to a rocket, and depending upon the market, I will do it. It doesn't happen like that. All of you, you have your passion, and that's the reason why you are there in the business. So you are actually looking at the right customer for your product. So the better way is to iterate. And the today's world, the digital channels, that makes it so easy. If it is not, say that you have looked into the Insta and the number of impressions and the number of hits and you didn't find it, then change it. From Insta, you move it to YouTube, or from YouTube, you move to Facebook, or you move to TikTok and see. Suppose that doesn't work, change the format. Maybe the way I'm only having too much of picture heavy kind of things, maybe I should be having some content. Or maybe I'm having too much of content over there, maybe I should be having some pictures. Please understand the left brain, right brain thing. The left brain over here is, do you know the left brain, right brain? Anybody? Can you get somebody to say in the chat, what is the left brain, right brain?
Folks, do you mind putting your answers in the chat? And we'll just wait for a quick 15-20 seconds for people to do that. Prof, also, I'll just take this opportunity to just mention a time
Yeah,
check.
yeah. I'm finishing in
Uh,
next 1 minute.
okay, we'll take a moment to just maybe introduce
Okay,
Rahul
so
in that context.
let me just finish them. Yeah, I'm
Prof, if
actually
it takes a couple of minutes, not a problem.
no, I'll just finish. There's nothing much to talk about. So if you understand over here, the left brain is the one that is more rational, and the right brain that is more creative. So when you are looking at more information and all that thing, that is the left brain. When you're looking at the visuals and all that thing, that is in the right brain. So now when you are looking at the messages, are you appealing to the left brain or are you appealing to the right brain? Those kind of thoughts that can come to your mind, based on which you can create the content. You can modify the content. So in the process of iteration, you can change the channel, you can change the format, you can change the content, you can change the metrics, or finally, you can change the target segment. So all these things iteratively you can do. I'm pretty sure if you follow a structured approach, then within a matter of month to 6 months period, you should be able to hit the bullseye. There is absolutely no reason why you cannot. And the last is, marketing is all about storytelling. A successful marketer is somebody who tells a story better than the competitor. A Louis Vuitton bag you buy in 2.5 lakh rupees, whereas a regular bag what you buy from, say, high design or something, 3,000, 5,000 rupees, and you still complain about it. But the same bag, one bag is about 3,000, 5,000, and another bag is 2.5 lakh. Why? Functionally pretty much the same. In fact, a 2.5 lakh bag, you just want to show, you don't want to put your laptop over there and see it being torn. It is because they tell a better story. That's all to it. So it is all about focusing on trying to create a better story. That's all from me. Thanks. Now we'll start with the intro of Rahul and probably some comments from Rahul.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Professor. That was extremely insightful. You've touched upon some really key elements to marketing for early stage founders, and I think that's going to be extremely crucial. We're also going to be sharing like a worksheet with everyone to sort of walk back and sort of put that in place for their own startup. So stay tuned for that at the end of it. But coming to the second part of it, we have Rahul, who's the co-founder and CMO at Bolcare. Everyone here, I'm assuming, has seen the very famous ad that Bolcare created waves in marketing with. And the last point that Professor had mentioned about relatable storytelling, I think there's no one better to sort of break break the concept down in with practical implications of how Bold Care went through with creating marketing which is relatable storytelling, but also breaks taboos and really builds trust with its consumers. They are a disruptor in the men's wellness space, and they're setting a benchmark for authenticity and virality. So, with that, I'd like to welcome Rahul on stage and sort of pass the mic back to Professor Ashish to run a few questions to break down how Bold Care went about the entire concept and how do they look at marketing within Bold Care. So, handing it back to you, Professor.
I think
Great.
first I should let Rahul speak for a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
What does he want to, I mean, whatever we discussed, is it useful? Whether he used anything of this?
Absolutely, sir. I think while you were going through all the points, right? I was just thinking about if I had gone to IIM, I would have maybe learnt this before I started the company rather than after I started the company. Because all the
Okay.
points that you mentioned, all the points that you mentioned are something that we have, like you said, like iteration is really, really important, right? Like when we started as well, we started with like a really core idea. And then as we were building the company, we realized what customers want. And then we started building products which they want, or like the messaging that they wanted. There was a lot of restriction around sexual wellness as well in the country. So we had to adopt our communication. We couldn't be as direct as we wanted to be. But at the same time, we didn't want to be as crass as everyone else in the market is as well, right? Everyone else in the market, they use really cheap language, really cheap imagery, which we didn't want to do. So as we have built the company, we have iterated a lot. And I think iteration at the end of the day is the core of any business. And like you said, between traditional companies and entrepreneurial companies, iterating quick is the difference. Like taking decisions really quickly, taking product decisions, marketing decisions, just operation decisions really quickly is what you need to do at the 0 to 5 year stage of any business, which is what we have done. And it was really nice to hear that my theory is validated of how to build a business. So good to
Of
know.
course. In fact, that was the first question which you answered, that this idea. Tell me something, Rahul. How did you come up with this idea? Of course, there is a gap in the market. We do know that. But
Right,
I mean, Nirod has been something which is kind of a taboo and all, but it's
right.
a generalized thing. But how did you come up with this interesting idea? We do. I don't
So,
know. Many of the kids probably wouldn't remember uh, the Kama Sutra ads and all that,
uh,
which made a lot of news in those days. Uh,
right,
I don't know
right.
if
So
have you seen that?
I vaguely remember saying I'm the generation which grew up watching all the Durex ads which
Okay,
Ranveer Singh was doing, and now he's a co-founder as well. So
yeah, yeah.
so it's been an interesting journey. But I'll quickly maybe just go over how we started and why we started the company, right? So in 2014, when I was just like in my first year of college, me and my CEO Rajat, we were three co-founders at Boldcare. So Rajat, Mohit, and I. So Rajat and I, we used to run a hyper-local e-pharmacy in 2014. I mean, we just started where we had an app where people could upload prescriptions, and then we would deliver products from like their nearest pharmacy, which was like a really basic idea of like a quick commerce for medicines back in 2014. But that didn't work out for us because the telemedicine laws came in and it was really operationally heavy. So we had to shut it down. But when we were running the business, a lot of our queries, a lot of prescriptions that we got, and a lot of orders that we got on the app were for sexual health and wellness products, right? Like condoms, loops. We got a lot of orders for Viagra as well, and we used to get these orders late at night. But then that's when we realized that maybe sexual health as a category is the most ideal category to be disrupted with internet, right? Because in a country like India, where there is so much taboo and so much stigma around seeking these solutions offline, uh, having like a really safe space online where you can browse aram se baith ke, see what solutions work for you, order it, get it delivered to you, and live and lead a very fulfilling sex life. I think nothing like it, right? So this was the tiny idea that we had in 2014 when we started out the company. That company didn't work out. We went our ways. I went back to college. I did aerospace engineering. My Rajat dropped out of college. He went to the VC side of things. And then in 2019, when we were all really like slightly burned out from our existing jobs, we were like, okay, maybe we should consider doing something else. Okay, background is that the three of us are really old school friends. Like I know one of my co-founders from like first standard and the other one from sixth standard, right? So we've always been doing a lot of projects and a lot of things together. So in 2019, we were like, okay, let's work on something together. And this insight of sexual health as a category is something we carry. And while Rajat was also doing a lot more research at his VC job, which was a fund focused towards healthcare and health and wellness, there he was seeing that sexual health as a category was emerging in the West really well, right? There were a couple of companies in the West called Hims and Roman, which had hit $1 billion in valuation and hit $1 billion in sales in a month. So they were like really growing fast. And well, like all other categories, India mimics a lot from the West, right? So mental health also as a category first grew up in the US and then came to India in 2018, 2019. There was a lot of conversation around mental health as a subject. And our bet was that sexual health as a category will also pick up sometime in 2019 and 2020, which is why we wanted to get into it. So before we did anything, we came to Bombay because we are all from Bombay, but we were like in different parts of the city. We all came to Bombay and we just went around speaking to a lot of sexologists, andrologists, urologists to truly understand how big of a problem sexual health issues are. Which is, I think, base research which everyone should do if they're getting into any business, right? So we got into that. We spoke to a lot of doctors, and that's when we realized that the problem is actually huge. Because in a country like Mumbai, which is supposed to be the most modern, most the financial hub of the country, right? In a country like Mumbai, there is only one specialist men's sexual health doctor who can solve issues like premature ejaculation and erectile dysfunction for every 25,000 men, which
Wow.
is appalling, right? Because India is known as the impotence capital of the world because we have more people who face sexual health issues than people with diabetes in the country, and plus no one talks about it because everyone is very shy to admit that they have a problem because popular culture has always made impotence and having issues in the bedroom the butt of all jokes. So you can never go to a friend and confidant and just open up saying that I have this issue, right? So because of that, the taboo grew, and as soon as you start having any sexual health issues, it just snowballs, right? It just becomes that much bigger of a problem in your head. So then we identified, so we decided to get into it, and then we launched just three products in March of 2020, 1 week before the pandemic. And then the pandemic came in, then we had to stop, and then we relaunched in June with the three products. When we started, we only had three prescription products, right? Which was Viagra, which is you take it 30 minutes before having sex. Then there's Tadalafil, which is like a daily morning tablet, and then there's another tablet called Depoxetin, which is like a medicine for premature ejaculation. But the entire month of June, we were trying to sell those products, and we realized that Indians, as an audience, are slightly wary of prescription products. Right? They believe more in natural solutions. They believe a lot in Ayurveda. So we immediately pivoted. We didn't pivot completely. We adapted to bring in a couple of natural solutions in as well, and then we started bundling them together along with a doctor consultation. So for a customer to come into the flow, get a prescription medicine, get an Ayurvedic supplement, and a doctor consultation to solve any issue that they have was unheard of. Right? We vertically integrated the whole process so that from the day they come to us until the day that they're resolved this issue, we are there with them throughout the journey. And at that scale, we also had this concept of personal assistance because this problem is such a weight on people's minds and they don't have anyone to talk to. Having like an anonymous person that they could talk to on WhatsApp about these problems was really helpful. Of course, at this point, because the scale is so large, we're not able to sustain it, and hence we don't offer that service anymore. But at that stage, when we could, each personal assistant was speaking to five people, right? So they would open up about all of their issues. They would open up about the issues that they were having with their partner because they were not able to have sex. And before this, before we started the company as well, in order to understand who our market would be and who our core customer profile would be, we spoke to a lot of these doctors. So, and we were used to sit in their waiting rooms just to see the kind of people who would show up to these doctors, right? And there also we observed a lot of things which made us even more sure that online is the way to go for sexual health as a category. Because if you go to like a sexual health clinic, the first step is getting out of your house, driving, going, and you always have to be careful of someone seeing you entering a sexual health clinic, right? And as soon as you enter in, there's usually a receptionist. You have to talk to the receptionist and tell them who you're here to meet and what your problem is. And then you have to sit in a waiting room with so many other men, and all of you know that you're there for a sexual health issue. And that becomes really embarrassing. So bringing this entire process online just removes all of that for customers and makes it as smooth as possible. So that's when we started, and touchwood, it's been like 5.5 years, almost 5 years since then. So the business has grown. Initially, we started off by selling only sexual health issues ke liye products, like we only wanted to solve erectile dysfunction and premature ejaculation. But since then, we've also ventured out into sexual wellness as a category where we have launched condoms and lubes, etc. And now we're the fastest growing brand in the country for condoms and lube, right behind Durex. So yeah, that's been like a quick journey of where we've come from 2019 until now.
Pretty interesting. And if you are listening to Rahul, you do understand that the kind of things that we have been discussing, it is the value for the customer, identifying the customer segment and the value for the customer. That is so important over here. And here I could not cover one of the concepts that is coming to me. Clayton Christensen's, there is a concept called job to be done. Look for it online. This is a very important thing. So job to be done says that don't just think about what you are going to do to the customer, what value. Think of it in terms of what problem the customer is trying to solve through the product or service that you are providing to the customer. And this is the classic example of job to be done, where to me it looks like I'm just solving the whole anxiety of the customer. So if you look at it, the sexual wellness, there are a lot of alternatives. Medicines are available, doctors are available. It's not that
Absolutely.
it was not there. And this was like an aggregator business, something like an Ola or Uber kind of aggregator business. But what it provided over here is that you help the customer get out of that anxiety
Absolutely.
and that
Yeah,
embarrassment
correct.
and help them to satisfy themselves and their partners. So that is an amazing business model that you can think about. So one quick question over here. What kind of metrics you looked for when, because we spoke about a lot, and a lot of people will be keen on the
Yeah.
metrics part of it. So what kind of metrics you saw in the initial days for your business and how it is now?
Right. So initially, when we started the business, we didn't have a lot of money to start off with, right? And we had raised like a really tiny round from a group of investors. So from day one, there was always pressure on us to show revenue, right? Revenue and then revenue growth month on month. In the beginning, we invested heavily on performance marketing because we knew that being a clean brand in this category is enough brand awareness marketing. Just not doing the bad things sometimes works out better for you, right? I mean, when we entered the space, all the players in the sexual health space, I'm not talking about condoms and lubes, in the sexual health space, so brands like Dabur Shilajit Gold or like other really low key brands which you would not hear that much, but all of them would have either like a tiger on the packaging or like a lion on the packaging or a horse on the packaging just to show peak male performance, or like a rock which is shaped like a penis, right? But as soon as you start using imagery like that, right, it puts an even more negative perception in the customer's
Correct.
mind that why am I buying a product that will make me feel like a tiger, right? That's it's like I just want to feel normal, right? So we went for a really, really basic, very clean packaging experience, and the whole website that we had was very clean. No half-naked models, no tongue-in-cheek pun content saying if you can't get it up or sex. We didn't go for that basically. We were like, if you have a problem, this is the solution. And at the end of this doctor consultation and these products, you will be able to lead a better sex life, right? So we were very direct with the communication, we were very pointed, and that helped us build the brand without doing any brand awareness marketing. So when we started, we were doing only performance marketing. We were running, so inside Facebook, we used to run different stages of campaigns, right? So we started off with firstly bringing a lot of audience to the website. So we have more signals on who is interested in these products. So we started running a lot of top of the funnel campaigns, a lot of reach campaigns, a lot of awareness campaigns, just to make people see the ad a lot and bring them to the website, and then had retargeting campaigns to again to show them. Retargeting campaigns are mostly purchase related, right? So beginning, we always used to look at reach, impressions, ROAS. ROAS was the biggest factor because of the limited resources that we had. We had to ensure that every rupee that we spent on marketing, we at least get the same amount back. Even if we don't get 2x back, because at the beginning we were not a known face, but we were aiming for like one ROAS. Thankfully, we got like a 1.5, 2 ROAS in the right from the beginning, because we were the only players in this category. Now, if you had launched a hair care brand in that space, right? Your ROAS is always going to be horrible because there are 10 brands in the same space who are competing for the same customer. But thankfully, touchwood, we were just the only sexual health brand advertising heavily. And we used to get returns as much as well as we got in the beginning. So that was the metric we tracked a lot, ROAS, and how much money we're getting back. Another metric that we were closely tracking from the beginning is repeats, because no business can work without repeat customers. And because as you increase your repeat order percentages, that is, you keep reducing your CAC month on month, right? And our category is very beautifully positioned to have repeats month on month, because we were selling a product which a supplement basically, which you have to take every day, and that repeats. Plus, at the same time, we were offering a solution which helps them have better sex, so they were also like coming back regularly. But people don't come back on their own all the time. So you have to create a campaign which nudges them a little bit, which reminds them to order. So we created all of those flows. So whatever we could do at a very minimal cost to ensure that a customer that we've acquired, we made all the efforts to make sure that the customer does not leave. That was the biggest metric also that we were tracking right from the beginning. That what is the month-on-month retention? What is the quarter-on-quarter retention? Yeah, so those were some of the top ones.
So, I mean, one of the, while listening to your story, one of the things that comes out very clearly, whether knowingly or unknowingly, what you did by making it normal, not fun, not hyper masculinity and all that, you actually you maintained, you developed that relationship. So one of the things that I was talking about, that maintain relationship, if the reason why the hair care will be difficult for a ROAS kind of a thing, because in hair care, it is difficult to develop a relationship unless you talk about a specific type of customer and a specific type of problem that you are trying to solve through this. But here, the space being very unique, and your approach to that is telling, yeah, everybody has it, there is nothing to be afraid of, nothing to be ashamed of. So you kind of came as a friend, as a
absolutely
somebody with whom you can talk. So through your campaigns and through your way of coming forward and putting online, so that relationship that really worked wonders.
Correct. The relationship was actually really, really useful because in the beginning, the website that we had was designed by the three, four of us, right? And we were not web designers. And we would also not, we also didn't have access to a payment gateway, because all of the payment gateways had been burned by all these other quack sexual health doctors. So they refused to give us a payment gateway, right? So all the orders that we had to do had to be cash on delivery. And before they could convert, they had to speak to our customer support agents once so that they trust the brand more. And that's how we built that relationship with the customer. Because even after they spoke to our doctors and they placed the order, we don't have the customer's money yet. Only when the customer receives the parcel and they do pay the guy, do we have the money. So we had to ensure that the trust that we had built in the customer's mind was so high that they, between them saying, okay, send me the order, and the 3 days until it gets delivered to them, they don't lose that trust, and which was established purely through communication and precise, concise messaging.
Yeah, that is quite something, but I think we are running out of time, about 6 minutes. There are a few questions which anything you'd like to answer, Rahul?
Yeah. Yeah, is it possible to build a brand organically on social media anymore, given algorithms have worked? 100% it's definitely possible to build a brand on social media, right? It's just that it's very fickle. Like you never know what is going to happen with the algorithm. But I think if you invest well in the type of content that you're producing, it's definitely possible to create a great brand on social media. I've seen a lot of people doing fantastic job on social media, building their own content and building a great business around it. I was on Instagram recently, and I was seeing a couple of female entrepreneurs building like a kurti brand, and they were showing their behind the scenes of how they create the whole product, and they were showing it on models and how it fits them, etc., etc. And they had, I think, about 250,000 followers, which is unheard of in like a tiny segment, right? So the right kind of content, the right messaging, and how well it is packaged. It doesn't need to be the most well produced content. It just needs to be packaged well enough for the algorithm to pick it up and show it to as many people as possible. So definitely possible.
Yeah. I'll pick up one or two questions over here. See, I actually, if yeah, somebody is asking that if you can share the slides, if you want to, you can. I have no objection to that. There is a cheat sheet that is there along with it. We should be okay. But I don't know what is the rule regarding it. If you want to, I don't have any objection to sharing the slides. See, somebody is writing about whether we can use the 4P or 5P and we should forget about it. I'm not telling to forget about those things. I'm telling that the implementation of the 4P or 5P or 7P, there are multiple Ps, whatever you talk about. So those come from understanding the customer value. So if you look into the steps of marketing that I have told you, the content marketing and the implementation of it. The implementation is 4P. Marketing has to be, there is a product, there is a price, there is a distribution channel, and there is a promotion. So you're not forgetting it. What I'm telling is I'm changing the sequence of it. I'm telling first identify the customer through persona, and after identifying the customer, be clear on your objective, then the content, that is the promotion strategy, the content, and then do the other strategies and then iterate to see that whether it is working or not. So it is not really that the conventional marketing, I'm telling they're not relevant. What I'm telling is the sequence in which you apply, that is the difference in startups. Yeah, Emily says, can we do open targeting? I understand open targeting means you're doing a generic back of the envelope calculation and then finding out, and then define the persona on the basis of the purchase. If you have the purchase data, if you have the customer data with you, then yeah, why not?
Yeah, if I can just maybe add to that is when we started our marketing, right? So we also didn't know who would be the target audience. So when we were speaking to all the doctors, we asked them who their ideal customer profile is as well, right? So we got some information from the doctors on what are the types of men who come to them with these issues. Then we started open targeting. We selected men from the ages of say 22 to 40, and we identified a couple of directions. So some of the doctors told us that we have people who work in really high stress environments, MNC, people who are running their own businesses. So we added a couple of signals, and then we ran ads. And then as you show the ads to more and more people, you can then see in Google Analytics the affinity groups, the interest groups, and then you retarget them basis that. So it's again, I keep coming back to Serge's point on how iteration is the most important factor when it comes to entrepreneurial marketing. Traditional marketing has a lot of resources to throw around and do things, but entrepreneurial marketing needs to be really nimble, really agile, and really open to switching things up as quickly as possible.
I guess we need to close. The time is almost there. If Mohini or Samita, somebody wants to summarize and close the
I think
discussion.
we'll just Yeah, I think we'll just maybe launch the poll. And Kanaraj, if you want to go ahead and maybe.
Yeah. So, firstly, thank you so much, guys. I think it's been very, very inspiring. Honestly, Rahul, I've been a founder myself in the past, but I was talking to Mohini just now, and how inspiring that entire story is of, identifying a problem so good, right? Because you have problems that are very superficial, and then you have problems that are that in depth. So one thing I can definitely vouch for is understanding the problem well enough and then everything will fall in place. I had a question for you, more specifically on your experience with going B2C with like a sexual wellness brand. Have you tried other ways? Did you try going through different route that was easier to go to market? Because starting off with an online first product, then trying to target it through performance marketing and then getting audiences in. What was your thought in that space? Was there an easier way? Did you try experimenting with smaller like groups of people, smaller groups of men, maybe entering, like you were talking about clinics, so maybe entering the clinic space and kind of offering products there instead to begin, because product validation is also very important, right? So the question is around that. So do you have an answer that you could maybe help us?
Right. So we did our bet from the right from the beginning, and I think we are, as co-found, like the three of us, we are slightly aggressive risk takers, right? Which is not something that I would recommend to everyone. But right from the beginning, when we launched the company, we had a very strong hypothesis that this is a category which will be championed online, and this is a category which will be sold directly to customers only, right? Because no one talks about it among their friend group. Even if we initially we did think of maybe reaching out to Facebook communities of men and just putting up our products there, or just reaching out to offline communities of men and talking about board care there. But it's possible to do it, but it's not going to be easy. Putting out an ad on Instagram, and which someone is browsing Instagram at 2 a.m., they see an ad and make a purchase, that is a much quicker time frame and a much quicker sales cycle than going through other routes, for us at least. And when it comes to doctor clinics and everything, I think again it's a very time intensive process. You need to crack the doctors, you need to have your fleet of medical representatives in the future. In the beginning, of course, we would have done it, but at that point we didn't want to do anything offline, because we knew that this category had so much potential to be cracked online, that we wanted to build a business completely online from day one. So that was like slightly really strong decision making which we took. In hindsight, it would have gone either way, right? It could have really tanked, but touch wood, it worked out. So yeah.
That's very, very interesting. Thank you so much. I have a lot of questions. I might just take it offline and just like bug you with all of these things. But thank you so much,
Sure.
Professor. Thank you, Rahul. Guys, if you have a few minutes, please fill out the feedback form, and you can download the cheat sheet, and you'll also receive it by email right after. So thank you so much once again, and see you in the next masterclass.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Wonderful talking to sir today. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Rahul.
Bye.
It was very interesting.
Likewise.
Just learning to your story.
Have a good evening.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Everyone, the cheat sheets in the chat box for attendees who'd like to download it.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.